There's certain churches that don't protect the sacredness. They don't protect the sacredness of spirituality in the church. And that's why I made this video. That's why I had to talk about this, because I'm like, somebody can go in vulnerable and get turned out because of that community. And today, listen, we're going to add into it. I had to talk about it. So I grew up in the Black church. I grew up in the Black church where it was in the Black neighborhood on the other side of the neighborhood, in the hood. You hear me? And I've also grown up where I've got to see different types of churches. I grew up first going to Apostolic. My first church that I recognized and got baptized in, I got baptized Apostolic in Sacramento, California. And I was so grateful at 9 years old that I had the opportunity to do that. And I've learned a lot, because when you go to a church that has like denominations, they have rules and they have ways of membership that are very important for the church and the business of the church and how it operates. So besides that, I've also gone to like mega churches. I've gone to like big old churches. Like I know a lot of people talk about, like in Texas, they go to TD Jakes Church. They have churches like that in California, like in Los Angeles. There's some big churches, and I usually go when like friends would invite me out to want to see their way of spirituality and their way to God. I've also been at small mom and pop churches where it's just like a small family, maybe two families, and the pastor is new or just got their, certification to become a pastor, and it's just like very family oriented, and then they have to like minister out into the community to try to expand it. And like I told you in the beginning, I have been to the Black church that was in the other side of the track in the hood, up to no good, because the location was cheaper. You hear me? But the location and everything around it and the members that was coming was real suspect. Yes. So because I've gone to all these different churches, I got to notice, like when I became just my own spiritual person, that the church can like harm your divinity, more so because of how it's structured and the type of people it attracts. So in this video, I just want to just share, here are the things to look for to make sure that you're protecting your spiritual journey if you choose to go to church as a way of comfort and development for your spiritual path. First thing is to pay attention to the mission and vision statement of the church. So that's usually on the website, or it's usually in the brochure. That mission statement and vision statement should be matching like your own personal views of yourself. It should speak to your soul and let you know that you're in a good space. So make sure that that is a thing, because you can go to a church and they don't believe in the way that you see God or that you believe in God. And you want to make sure that that's number one. Because if they don't, you're going to always find yourself conflicted with what they're trying to force you to do. And you don't have to be forced to do anything. That's why they have so many different types of churches, different ethnicities, different denomination churches. The other thing to look forward to in a church is their ministry and their programs, because you want to make sure that you can keep coming back. You shouldn't just go to church on Sunday. You actually should be doing the work. You should be doing things that's going to create journeys for you to work on yourself, study more about the spiritual focus, and to just like grow. I love that some churches do have like social ministries, which can become a little sloppy over time, but it's good to meet like-minded people from time to time. But it's wonderful when a church has like multiple ministries that have to do with mental health, addiction, financial empowerment, getting into real estate, buying your own home, making sure that your family has a support system. Like there's like couples and marriage counseling type ministries. There's programs for like the kids to do things after school or in the summertime. So really hone in to look around that church, look for their calendar, look in their program, and look on their website to make sure they have ministries that are active, ministries that are going to help you grow forward. The other thing to pay attention to is the events at the church. So I know that churches are always fundraising for money to make sure that the church operations and the staff and the everything they have to pay for needs to be paid for. So they throw events, but are these events benefiting you? Are these events benefiting them? Are they helping the church improve, or where did the money go? So pay attention to the events that they throw, especially during the holiday season. Definitely support, but also pay attention to who is there, because who is there is going to identify the frequency that you're trying to get to. Are these the type of people that you want to get to know? Are they being stuck up and snooty, and you know what I'm saying? Because every event has their cliques. And when you go to church, you want to make sure that you are surrounded by people that acknowledge you, even if you're new. Like, I want to be a part of this community. So y'all need to embrace me too, and my family, and my boo, you know what I'm saying, and what I'm going through. You want that support. So pay attention to the events, the type of events, and who's there and how they treat you. And the last thing to pay attention to is the type of pastor in the board of directors. So every church has a board of directors and they have a pastor. It's kind of like the government. You got the president and you got the House and the Senate, you know what I'm saying? And you just want to make sure that everybody in that team is for the growth of that church, that their members are transforming their lives, that their members are coming back and wanting to pour into the church. Because from the pastor and board of directors level, that's the leadership level. So if their leadership is good, they do good things at home and in their community and for the church, they're going to do good things in that church, and it's worth staying. But if they do not, please hurry up and get out of there. I don't care. Go. Because everybody don't deserve a church. Everybody shouldn't have one. No. And y'all know what I'm talking about. So thinking about healing, make sure that if you choose church as a way to support your healing, that those things are important. Because I've been in some bad churches, you hear me? But I realize that church is a business. It's still a business. They still have to fill out paperwork and form it into a nonprofit or for-profit business. It's an organization. And even though their goal is to guide you, you have to always pray, God, show me the people around, because gossip is gossip, ain't it? And you can hear stuff in that church and on the prayer line and in the group chat and stuff like that. I would rather you spend time at home building your altar until that church presents itself for you, because as you're healing, you want to be able to have the right people around you, the good materials that you need, the resources. And I spend time at my altar every day. Even if I do choose a church, I still have my altar, and I may buy things from the church to bring to my altar, but my altar is my first church. And it allows me to connect with my spirit guides, my counsel, my energy. You hear me? And so I encourage you, if you're having a hard time finding a church, start with having your altar, and then pray to God to help you find that church. Like, write out the things that you want to have in the church, so that when you attract these options, because the universe is going to give you options, you're like, wow, okay, this church got this, this, and this. Oh, this church got this, and it got single men. You hear me? Oh, and it got single women. Be honest, because you're making a commitment to invest in a community that you could be in for 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years. And you need to be able to grow throughout that whole church. Not rushed into it, but grow gradually, because they poured into you and you've changed your life. And so now you can go forward with what you're doing. Peace and love, you guys. I thank y'all for listening to this video. I hope it helped you. And if you love your church and you think it got good ministry, shout out your city and the name of that church and represent y'all. Peace and love.